Hello everyone, welcome to ZDub Technologies. As stated in my previous session, in this session, we will mainly be focusing on a detailed introduction to the AWS console management. As we already know, AWS is mainly a tool to enable cloud computing services. Let's first understand what does cloud computing stands for. Cloud computing is an on demand availability of computer system resources, especially data storage and computing power, without direct active management by the user. The term is generally used to describe data centers available to many users over the internet. AWS is essentially a data center that with a host of services that we will be learning in today in detail. Let's dig into AWS Management Console and try to understand the basics of the platform. As you can see, this is the AWS Console website, and this is the registration page of AWS Management Console. The AWS Solutions Architect website, as I had already stated in my previous session, has a detailed instruction of the certification exam, but it also has a lot of details about what the architect is supposed to be able to do to be able to participate in this examination or certification. Whereas this is an AWS portal console management registration page. Here you can go and fill in your personal details and be able to register on AWS platform. This is just as simple as any signing up website on any other web application. The way you put details about your personal details and some of your billing information on any other platform, this is exactly how you do it on AWS console also. If you see, the first time user will also be liable to AWS free tier services, which they have essentially stated on this website. The AWS accounts include 12 months of free tier access. This free tier access does not necessarily include all the services of AWS, but they have defined certain services that this definitely includes, but for a certain limited period of time. AWS comes up with a bunch of services all related to cloud computing concepts and to be able to enable you host your own web application or a website online on the internet hassle free. Now, let's dig into the AWS Management Console and try to understand the basics of the platform. As you can see, you will have to fill your basic email details, credentials, password, and AWS account name, which you, as you can see, choose a name for your account. You can change this name in your account settings after the setup as well, but this account name becomes unique for you and by which AWS team will be addressing you. Here on this page, you can fill up all the details required. If you continue here, you will be taken to a different page and you'll be asked some more questions that you'll have to fill in your billing details, your credit card information. Post that, you will land up on this page. This year, I already have an account with AWS, and this is how the dashboard, their first landing page, looks like. If you see here, I have already availed S3 service. I mean, I had recently visited it. That is why you can see it here. Otherwise, you will not be seeing anything here. This is the all services tab that appears here. This is essentially all the details about all the AWS services. All these are AWS services that you can use here. As I had mentioned earlier, S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. In today's session, we will be creating a storage space in AWS called S3. S3 also is a storage service, meaning it helps, as the name suggests, it's a storage space designed to store any kind of data, right from images, files, documents to hosting a complete website or a web application, as I had mentioned earlier. AWS refers to storage space as buckets. So if you click on this and if you see their page, how what do they actually refer to? The term called buckets are nothing but storage spaces. AWS definition for or declaration for this particular term is buckets. Now, uh, S3 is the slang for storage services of AWS is S3, so short form also. So S3 is used to create and maintain various buckets. One S3 account can have various buckets. S3 is also region specific. So right now, if you see S3 is right now not requiring any region selection, but most of AWS services are region specific. Now, let's check out these buckets and try to create one and see what happens on the process. So today we will be launching an S3 bucket. This is how you can see the panel looks like. You can search for services, features, marketplaces, products, etc. here. Since this is one of the buckets which is already created on this portal, the listing appears here. Otherwise, you simply need to create a bucket. Your AWS bucket name. This bucket name has to be unique, and not only unique in your account but in everybody's account. It has to be a unique name altogether. Then there is something called as region. Region is, as I was mentioning earlier, a bucket is region specific. So this AWS bucket is in hosted in US East, Ohio. But if you want, you can change it to Mumbai, Singapore, Sydney, whichever location you wish to store it, and the bucket will be hosted there for you. Copy settings from an existing bucket. This option is only available when you already have a bucket. If you do not have the bucket, this option will not appear to you. This option is simply to be able to copy all the settings that you must have set up while initiating your first bucket into your current bucket which you are going to create. This step is useful when you already have a bucket and you don't want to keep repeating the same steps again and again. Bucket settings for block public access. Very important aspect of S3 is the security of all the services that AWS provides. Today we will see S3's security. So S3 security is such where by default it is block all public access. What does this mean? No public will be able to see this bucket ever on their internet or on their AWS portal, even accidentally. It's like keeping your Instagram account private, right? Nobody is able to see your photos, your videos, or your content on your on your Instagram profile. It's similar to that here. If you block your public access, nobody will be ever able to discover your bucket on the AWS portal. So if you see right now for security reasons, I am blocking all the public access. You can also choose and select if you want to block the public access to buckets and objects granted through new access control list. We will learn about ACLs in detail later. Objects are mainly the content that you store in your bucket is referred as objects. You can also block public access to buckets and objects granted through any ACLs. Public access to buckets and objects granted through new ACLs. So these are the different settings that is available to you. Customization of security. If you do not intend to block all the public access but you want certain people to be able to discover your bucket, you can do that over here very simply. For security reasons, today here I will be blocking all the public access. Versioning. Bucket versioning is nothing but if you can store multiple copies of the same object in your bucket. Is that allowed or not is what defined over here. If you enable it, it will be allowed. If you disable, it will not be allowed. Adding a tag is nothing but a key value pair. For example, bucket 1. And what is the purpose of this bucket? Storing data. And you can also remove this anytime you wish to. You can add it. You can keep on adding as many tags as you want. There is something called as default encryption that AWS provides at their end. By default, it is disabled because they don't want to enable more and more encryption. You can have a choice. If the data is that important to you, you can enable it. If the data is not that important to you, you can also keep it disabled. The moment you select enable, you can see there are different algorithms with which AWS encrypts your information, and it is asking you to choose one. By default, the S3 key is already encrypted with is with a key that S3 creates, manages, and uses for you. As you can see, it is written out here. But if you do not intend to, that's completely fine. You can opt for the second option, which is AWS Key Management Service. This is a special key management service, but you take charge of the master and the key. You take charge of the credentials, and S3 will not be storing it for you. So I am going to be selecting AWS S3 key. Let me just fill up quickly a bucket name. As I had mentioned earlier, the bucket name has to be extremely unique, and I'm going to see the advanced settings. Advanced settings is nothing but object lock. Object lock meaning the objects that you are going to store inside the bucket will be write once, read many. Meaning, how many times will a user be able to read or write to that particular object? If you want to enable it, you can, or if you want to, by default, this is disabled. I'm just going to keep it disabled here, and then simply click on create bucket. I have not entered the key, and that is what is not allowing me. I'm going to click on create bucket, and now you will see within seconds there will be a bucket hosted for me already on AWS, which I will then be using for different storages. Now, if you see this, bucket and objects are not public because I had selected that block all public access. It is telling me that not neither the object nor the bucket is public. On this panel, you can see there's name, there's region, there is access level to S3, and then there is the creation date. On which date had I created this bucket? So this is more or less about bucket. You can simply just choose a bucket and you have the option to empty it. They will ask you to permanently delete. If you want to permanently delete, you will have to type permanently delete in the field. I do not intend to delete it right now. You can also delete directly from here. So, emptying and deleting are two different options. Emptying meaning only the objects inside your bucket will be deleted. Deleting means the entire bucket will be deleted. For now, AWS does not have a provision to be able to restore a deleted S3 unless you are manually maintaining a backup of the same. You can also refresh your bucket list, or you can also select a bucket and refresh that particular bucket. Options are wide and open for you. This is an entire S3 console. This is how it looks. It also has different settings here, such as account settings for block public access. You can define these. There are different dashboards, and then there is something known as AWS Marketplace, where there is backup, there is recovery. You can schedule your backups, you can schedule the recoveries, and there's a lot of other host of services that is provided over here. So, as you have seen, more or less, we have covered creating AWS bucket and covering the entire AWS bucket panel for now. That's it for today.